Zalina Saad di Auditorium 1. Assalamualaikum dan selamat pagi kepada semua peserta konferensi ICT pada pagi ini, khususnya yang sedang berada di Hall 2 pada ketika ini. Sebagaimana yang telah dimaklumkan oleh Puan Nur Zalina Saad sebentar tadi, bersama-sama kita pada hari ini, seorang figura yang pakar dalam topik yang akan dibicarakan sebentar saja lagi, iaitu Digitalization in Management. Saya Syamsudin Mudzamil, staf di Jabatan Infrastruktur UiTM Shah Alam, selaku moderator di dalam sesi selama 30 minit pada pagi ini. Sebelum itu saya mohon semua peserta hall pada ketika ini memastikan nama tuan-tuan dan puan-puan adalah nama penuh seperti yang telah didaftarkan di dalam konferensi ICT pada hari ini. Ini bertujuan bagi memastikan urusan penyaluran hadiah dan lain-lain dapat disampaikan kepada tuan-puan yang berjaya menjawab soalan-soalan yang berkaitan di sesi perkongsian maklumat pada pagi ini. Sekiranya tuan-puan ada sebarang soalan, sila kemukakan di ruangan chat dan saya akan bacakan jika ada kesempatan masa dan waktu. Di ujung sesi pada pagi ini, pihak penganjur akan menyediakan hadiah berbentuk e-wallet Shopee atau Touch and Go kepada semua para peserta yang dapat menjawab soalan yang disediakan. Oleh itu, sila beri perhatian sepenuhnya sepanjang sesi ini berlangsung. Baiklah tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, bersama kita sekarang di atas talian pada ketika ini adalah penceramah yang pihak penganjur jemput daripada Microsoft Asia Pacific, iaitu Encik Danial Azizan. Beliau pada ketika ini adalah menjawat jawatan sebagai Senior Specialist APAC yang berpengkalan di Singapura. His role in Microsoft today is support education leaders to design an equitable learning environment with Microsoft Unified Platform like Windows, Microsoft 365 and Teams to achieve greater value for students of all abilities. He was formerly the education lead for Microsoft Brunei and was named one of Brunei's most inspiring LinkedIn icons. Baiklah tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, dengan tidak melengahkan masa lagi, sesi perkongsian Digitalization in Management ini saya serahkan kepada Encik Danial Azizan. Over to you, Encik Danial.
Thank you very much. And can I check if I'm loud and clear? All right. Thank you everyone for joining my session today, which is on the topic of digitalization in management. And I actually created a team for today, which is how to stand out as a digital campus. So as introduced earlier on by the moderator, my name is Daniel. I'm a senior specialist in modern workplace for APAC education. I'm based in Singapore and I cover the portfolio of modern workplace such as Windows, Microsoft 365, and of course, Microsoft Teams. And when we talk about education today, it is our mission at Microsoft to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. It's people-centric, and the technology is the enabler. We want to use the power of AI and computing to make a difference to individuals and their communities with a diverse range of skills, cultures, and backgrounds. So on today's theme, before I even talk about digital campus, it is very important to accept that the digital campus has arrived. And with the impact of COVID and the move to online and hybrid classes, this has created a couple of challenges for all universities or higher education institutions. And why is that? When we actually look at the pre-pandemic curriculum structure and classroom setting, we were actually very comfortable with pen, paper, textbooks, notes, projector, whiteboards. But when the pandemic hit and when people started to learn online, teach online, there was a quick shift and it escalated very quickly where people had to buy devices, people had to buy software, people had to enable themselves to become much more digital to ensure that they can continue to teach and to also learn. So that shift is very quick and it has a lot of challenges when it comes to higher educations or universities. So universities have a lot of concerns around how, number one, to create a vibrant or engaged community. how do we keep engagement active online when most of the time it's physical interventions, like I'm looking at you today in the classroom. How is that different when I look at you in Zoom or in Microsoft Teams today? So is our engagement different? How do we create that vibrancy ongoing? And how do universities keep attracting high value students by offering a differentiated value proposition? Do the universities need to, provide devices during enrollment? Do the universities need to provide or manage all the applications when students actually register themselves on the school Wi-Fi? So these are some of the considerations. And how do you distinguish your institution from global competitors? Because everyone during COVID is doing the exact same thing, but maybe different technology, maybe different set of plans and structures, but how do you differentiate yourself? And of course, how do you use data and analytics to find and reach the right students and researchers? Last but not least, when a higher education institution is involved, there's always research teams, and how do we actually support those research teams to, globalize content and also protect their valuable IP. So these are some of the concerns. Whenever we talk about digital campus, we make sure that all of these concerns can and will be addressed before they actually move to online and a hybrid classroom strategy. And when I talk about digital campus and how to actually stand out, the student academic researchers' productivity and success are enabled through digital tools, secure identities, modern learning platforms, and collaboration spaces. And it has to be online, it has to be sometimes real time, it has to be sometimes offline, and sometimes anytime. So there are different modes of learning and teaching. So we cannot be always online. We sometimes need to be online and offline. We sometimes need to be online, real time, and sometimes offline. And these scenarios could be anytime. And how do we actually foster or strengthen the student digital engagement and community? How are we creating or being well informed of the students' well-being by data analytics and intelligent case management? And how does the management or corporate users of the university stand out as a digital campus on data-driven decision-making concerns? So collaborative research, speed to publication, and integrity in data sharing through secure collaboration spaces and tools are really fundamental when standing out as a digital campus. So in my next slide, I would like to introduce...
Sorry, Mr. Daniel, I'm interrupting you. Can you share back your slide?
Oh, is it not sharing? Let me try to... Is it sharing once again?
Good.
Okay, which means I haven't been sharing earlier on, is it?
Okay, you can proceed now.
Okay, all right. Thanks for calling it out. No problem. So I was explaining on what the digital campus, fosters in terms of student academic and researchers' productivity, and how we need to ensure that we keep ourselves online, real-time, offline, and sometimes anytime in terms of different modes of learning and teaching. So as I move on to my next slide, I want to introduce something to everyone that's called the Microsoft Empowered Campus. And this is something where we are actually providing as a guidance to higher education institutions and ministries of education in terms of how to actually digitalize their management processes. So when we look at this kind of blueprint, there's a lot of universities, there's a lot of institutions that says that, hey, I want to become an online or modern campus. How do I actually foster that? How do I actually become that? And this becomes a guideline. So today, the main theme of this session will be surrounded by the topics that I will touch upon on the later slides. So, we talk about the blueprint. So we want to talk about a secure identity management system, because each and every user in the institution needs an identity. So daniel.azizan@uitm.edu.my, that is an identity. If I don't have that identity, how do you actually validate that I'm actually a user or a student or a teacher at your institution? So a secure identity management system is crucial, and it provides a single sign-on to all the cloud learning applications, resources, and tools students, researchers, academics, and staff need. And when I have an identity, I need to integrate. I need to integrate across the university systems, and data enables you to create end-to-end services and view data holistically. It's no use if I just have an identity and I just use that identity for just an email account or a Teams account. So what I'm saying is that this email ID can also be used for me to access other systems. If you have a learning management system, if you have a school management system, if you have an attendance system, if I pay my school fees online, I will use my ID. If I need to make any facilities request online, I need to book a room, a projector, I will use my identity. So an identity is very fundamental. And this is something that provides a single sign-on and integrates across university systems. And of course, we want to equip institutions with highly secure and scalable cloud-based platform, because gone are the days when we just look at on-premise systems. On-premise systems works best, when everyone comes to the university, sits at the university, and teach and learn at the university. But the pandemic has taught us that everything has to be moved online. So how do we foster that migration from on-premise to cloud platforms? How do we enable ourselves to adopt cloud platforms? And how do we actually foster our well-being and behavior to log online and teach and learn online? So gone are the days where we depend on on-premise setup. Now we either go for a hybrid setup or fully online setup. And of course, this supports flexible learning models with anywhere, anytime access and self-serve options for students and staff. And this is how it looks like. A Microsoft Empowered Campus is a single integrated learning technology platform which works seamlessly, continually evolves, and takes care of security, digital resources, tools, and management. And if you can see in my slide, there's a lot of personas that is involved here. And this is just a guidance, this is a blueprint. So researchers, students, non-traditional students. When we talk about non-traditional students, we talk about people who maybe want to study part-time, people who are actually working like me and would like to enroll in specific courses in the university. Those are non-traditional students, while traditional students are really students who are full-time and will be at the university campus day in, day out for the length of their degree or their master's or PhD. We talk about administrators as a persona, the leaders, your chancellors, vice chancellors, they are leaders and academics, of course, lecturers, the staff, and the students as academics. And I was talking about the 4 pillars of secure and connected campus: student success, teaching and learning, and academic research. And as you can see, when I actually talk about identity, all these personas will have an identity at the campus. And gone are the days where everyone actually creates their own email accounts on Hotmail, Outlook, Gmail, iCloud, and all that. So everyone would have a standardized identity where it touches on all these 4 equitable education pillars and touching on all personas here. So we are actually centralizing the identity for collaboration across university systems and across all personas. That is the guideline that we are saying to universities today. Have an identity to collaborate, be productive, and integration across all personas and all systems. So you could be looking at high performance computing with advanced data and AI services, productivity with personalized tools, for example, Office, intelligent workflows and services with Dynamics, for example. And of course, it's always common for universities to have third-party solutions. So this is where we also need to integrate. So how do we actually seamlessly get everyone to use and log in? By having a secure, intelligent identity that's standardized across the university systems. And of course, fostering all these 4 pillars in the universities. And when I talk about the 4 pillars, this is guided by something we call a Microsoft Education Transformation Framework. So when I talk about student success, teaching and learning, academic research, and secure and connected campus, these are the different data points that you can actually see that's actually relevant to all the pillars. So for example, when we talk about student success in a university, we talk about student recruitment, student retention, student completion, and alumni engagement. So, and another example is academic research. We talk about research enablement, high performance computing and AI to do research, and research deployment blueprints and collaborative research. So those are the kind of data points that's included in all 4 pillars of equitable education under the Microsoft Education Transformation Framework. And for those interested, I may be able to share a few details after this session. And I've been talking about it. I've been talking about the blueprint. I've been talking about the different personas. I've been talking about how do we actually create actionable insights or call to actions around this ecosystem. So now what I want to do for the next few minutes is to show you how this can be in action. So let's look at the first one. Let's take the researchers persona and how we enable connected and collaborative researchers. So selectively and securely, researchers should be able to share data with their own research groups, which will lead to collaborative research publication opportunities. And for example, in a teaching assistant role, you'll be able to interact efficiently online and provide prompt feedback to study groups, and you can access interesting research data in perhaps a topic of Internet of Things in a central repository. So what you see on the screen today is just a guidance on how you actually digitize your processes in your universities when it comes to researchers' persona. So using high performance computing. And before, we were actually buying server racks, servers, workstation operating systems to actually really render and digitize some of our research activities. But now, gone are the days of buying that, but let's move everything to the cloud. We have server racks on the cloud where you can just subscribe to. We have instances of fault domains and backup or disaster recovery. So if anything happens, you have a Research 2.0 still there on the cloud. So making sure that you take advantage of high performance computing. And of course, in Microsoft, we call it an Azure high performance computing instance to create simulation that will test a lot of hypotheses. And of course, we have predictive models through machine learning analytics. You have to use machine learning today. I haven't seen any universities globally that do not actually use machine learning. So there are certain algorithms that's developed by the universities that can actually foster a predictive model using machine learning. And this is also available on the cloud. Dashboards. Dashboards are very important. So how do we actually create an intelligent dashboard that could actually publish data or do certain reportings to the public and also to leadership? So for example, if I have many data sets, the usual way that I will do it traditionally is either I send a lot of documents or Excels in email, or I will actually have a lot of notes and I will copy that or fax that to my leadership team. Today, we use something called a dashboard or intelligent dashboard, where we are able to actually collate all the data ingest a centralized repository so that it acts as a single source of truth. So if there's any anomaly in any research groups, any changes, it will reflect immediately real time, and the real-time data will be published to everyone. So in Microsoft, we have a tool called Power BI that will actually intelligently collate this dashboard and have you use specific templates that you can actually utilize for your research groups and your publication groups. And of course, we have Microsoft Teams. Teams is like Zoom. It's like Google. So it's just an online video conferencing tool where we are able to join calls with international collaborators and maybe co-author some materials online. Next, let's look at the student's persona. So how do we actually deliver modern learning spaces for students? How do we make students digital? How do we foster a digital campus with digital students becoming digital citizens? So, for example, everyone has a smartphone, you know. I have no idea who doesn't have a smartphone, but everyone has a smartphone. And people use smartphone to sign in into their, Office 365, their productivity tools, their learning management system, their, video conferencing systems. And sometimes I've seen universities use this to even take attendance. So there's a QR code outside the university hall where students scan the QR code, and that will be their attendance tracking system. And you're able to also track your own task list, and you can also complete a survey about your experience if it's on mobile. So students during the pandemic, they sign in to watch a lecture on their Teams channel, for example, and take notes on a OneNote productivity tool. They can, if they're in the campus, they can take attendance using a QR code, or I have seen universities that even offer their students to actually buy food at the campus using vouchers, using a QR code via the university's application. And students can also check their student portal to review their course marks, voucher balance, school fees, and other materials. And of course, they can always brainstorm within their own study group using Microsoft Teams. So I'm not saying that Teams is the only platform that you can use. There's a lot of collaboration platforms out there dependent on the universities. But students online today, they have a luxury or a diverse set of tools that they can take advantage of. So how do we actually deliver modern learning spaces for students? These are some examples. Students, preferably, they just use their smartphone, or university students, they always have a device, whether it'll be a tablet or a laptop or notebook, so they can actually use that to actually deliver or embrace in digital experiences in their campus alone. Gone are the days where people actually bring a lot of books, people bring a lot of heavy backpacks to universities. Now you only see the students bringing a smartphone and a laptop and their chargers. So when they're connected to this campus Wi-Fi, they can take advantage of all this modern learning tools that's provided to them, or modern I would say infrastructure that's actually provided, and it instills a digital citizen culture in them. When they go home, they probably want to also teach their peers at home on how to become much more digital. So as we foster that in the university, it also fosters them to actually teach other people at home. So coming on to my next slide, we will talk about non-traditional students who do part-time at the universities, students who are working and would like to just attend specific modules in a course. So it caters to people who need advanced qualification to progress their career. So this is how we define non-traditional students. And they will seek a university usually with a great reputation in the field and the academic resources that they need. So for me, I'm working right now and I want to take a master's in business management. I will look for universities that will be much more convenient for me, that I can probably study online at my own pace. I can take assessments online, and I can do everything anytime, anywhere. Gone are the days where a career person like me would like to go to a campus to study and taking night classes after work. So gone are the days where I do that. I will actually look for a university. Number one, it must have a good reputation, of course, and secondly, convenience to me. Convenience being that self-paced study, assessments online, and I can do it anytime, anywhere. So these are the kind of things where I'm looking for as a non-traditional student. And my persona could be, there's a lot of different types of non-traditional students. Those are single, married, just a couple and all that. So there are other commitments, but we need to actually cater to those kind of commitments also. So it's very important to look at how we actually advocate for that and how we potentially must be part of that system. So, and I can tell you a lot of non-traditional students, they live very, very far from the campus. So the idea that they are able to attend university online is greatly convenient for them. And he is able to take advantage of, a calendaring tool, for example, to make it easy for him or her to see when his classes or assignments are due. He's able to access his productivity tools online, and he's able to actually join lectures online also using Teams, for example. And of course, in Microsoft Teams, we also have things called Whiteboard, where they are able to collaborate together and brainstorm together collectively. So by providing all these tools to the non-traditional students, I myself personally would actually go for that university. I will go for a university that actually fosters this rather than a university that will ask me to actually go to a traditional campus and study at a campus for night classes after work. So processes have to be digitized, and thinking and thought process has to be much more changed. Administrators, we must never forget administrators, which are the backbones of the universities. Can I check with Encik Syamsudin, how much time do I have left?
Basically, we don't have any time yet because we have need to go to next activities. So I think you can wrap up what you have mentioned earlier.
Sure. So in that case, I will skip to the academics part, then I'll wrap up. So for the academics part, we need to make sure that we keep both on-campus and remote students engaged. And it's essential that students can connect with each other and have questions answered by lecturers, tutors, or their peers. And collaboration amongst themselves is a great way for them to learn. So, we have a lot of tools that's available that should be, empowered online, which is accessible to the students via their identities. And it's possible that lecturers can react to questions and feedback from live lectures by adding information from recorded lectures even. And they can use surveys and interactive tools to validate engagement with the course material. So in this case, what I'm saying is that everything is taken online, surveys and assessments are taken online, quizzes are taken online, and some lecturers are even utilizing teaching bots to actually free up lecturers' time and answer students' questions much more proactively. So these are some of the things that is being a blueprint for a lot of universities to actually modernize, digitalize their kind of classroom management. So with that, I have come to the end of my session, and thank you very much.
Terima kasih kepada Encik Danial Azizan di atas perkongsian yang sangat menarik dan berinformatif sebentar tadi berkaitan digitalization in management. Dan sesi kita sekarang berada di penghujungnya, oleh itu beberapa soalan kuis yang akan dipaparkan di ruangan chat sebentar saja lagi, dan pemenang akan dikira melalui cepat dan tepat jawapan yang diberikan. Okey, saya kira pihak penganjur akan bersedia untuk melontarkan soalan-soalan kuis di ruangan chat. Okey, soalan dia cukup senang dan cukup dan siapa cepat dan tepat, beliaulah pemenangnya. Dan bila pihak penganjur telah mendapat pemenangnya soalan-soalan berikutnya. Dia ada 4 soalan dan satu soalan berharga RM20 dan akan disalurkan melalui e-wallet sama ada Shopee ataupun Touch and Go. Alright, pihak penganjur sedang menilai pemenang-pemenang dan sedang mengajukan soalan-soalan seterusnya. Saya sedang mendapatkan signal ataupun isyarat daripada pihak penganjur untuk meneruskan sesi yang seterusnya. Alright, selamat menjawab dengan cepat dan tepat. Yang bertuah akan dihubungi oleh pihak urustia lah. Alright. Tahniah kepada semua yang telah berjaya. Tuan-puan akan dihubungi oleh urustia untuk urusan penyaluran hadiah. Seterusnya, para peserta dijemput untuk mengisi maklum balas berkaitan topik yang dibincangkan pada pagi ini. Sila klik pautan yang disediakan di ruangan chat atau scan QR code yang sedang dipaparkan pada ketika ini. Sekian saja sesi perkongsian maklumat berkaitan Digitalization in Management oleh Encik Danial Azizan. Saya mengucapkan ribuan terima kasih kepada tuan-puan yang melibatkan diri di dalam hall ini. Saya Syamsudin Mudzamil, memohon maaf jika ada kesilapan dan kesalahan bagi pihak diri saya dan penganjur di dalam mengendalikan sesi pada pagi ini.